Hi everyone, we're here with another video, and today we're talking about the Insta360 X4, which we will only be providing footage on that. Let's start off with an intro to what the Insta360 X4 is, and maybe the lineup. I mean, I'm sure if you're watching this, you're familiar with the 360 cameras and the 360 camera landscape in today's world in 2025, which is really the Insta360 lineup. So they have really no competition and really have to compete against themselves and their own products, quite honestly. So a little bit interesting, to say the least. And yeah, it's a 360 camera, so you can essentially record on both sides. There's two protruding lenses, and that goes into some of the cons of this product, but in general, it's probably one of the most versatile products you can buy in terms of camera gear. So let me just hop into the pros and cons, because I don't want to bore you with some of the mundane details of my nuances, but yeah. So pros, obviously 360 camera, so very versatile, very much two cameras in a package of one. So if you're recording something, you'll likely be able to capture it with this camera. And the upgrade for this one from the X3 to the X4 is in regular 360 mode, you can record up to 8K 30 frames per second. So the reason that's important, and at the moment I'm actually shooting in 5.7K plus mode, which is supposedly roughly the same amount of quality as the 8K video, because the sizes of the files are fairly similar, but better quality than 5.7K. The problem and limitation with the 8K and 5.7K plus is that it's not the greatest for low light. But we'll hop into that as we move forward. So, as I mentioned, the upgrade from the X3 to the X4, it's great because you get some extra resolution, and the 8K means that if you're zooming in to a 16:9 ratio, you can get up to basically your original 4K single lens kind of view. So that's something that's a huge perk out of it, at least the upgrade from the X3 to the X4. Yesterday, actually, the Insta360 X5 came out, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. But pros, you know, it's a single camera for something that you can shoot multiple views from. Taking a look at that and thinking about the versatility aspect, you can reframe anything that you shoot. If you're shooting in 360 mode, you can take 72 megapixel shots via photo in HDR mode as well. And it does also have an HDR mode for video too, but I'll get into that as well. But yeah, I think by far the most versatile one camera system, and it allows you to take a lot of different creative shots and be very creative with those shots in post. And yeah, I've been daily driving this one and been interested in it since the X3 came out, and can't say that I'm very much like, I very much like it. It's super great. Instead of having two GoPros, which I used to have shooting some videos, I now just bring this one and I just shoot with this. So it allows me to, instead of bringing two cameras, just bring one and to worry about one camera. So that's something that's pretty nice. You can also shoot in single lens mode, and this allows you to get similar footage to like the GoPro and DJI, and also the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. So the quality isn't up to snuff, but you can still do it. So it's nice that you're able to use it in that way. And also just in this scenario here, I can reframe, put it in the back or the rear, shoot ahead of me, shoot back of me. So honestly, it seems like a great way to like use for like a dash cam or something like that. You can use it in that manner as well, because it does have a setting for that. It also allows you to hook up to Bluetooth audio, and with an adapter you can use external microphones too, which are great. So after speaking about all the pros, let's move over to some of the cons. So let's start off with the main one, which may make people upgrade to the X5, is repairability. And the fact that these lenses protrude, it makes it so much easier to scratch them. I'm usually super careful with mine. I got a scratch on mine and sent it in for replacement. And the ugly truth about that process was I was basically negotiating with Insta360 on if I could replace the lens for a certain amount. So originally it started off at $130 and I got them down to $108. So take that, Insta360. So yeah, repairability on these lenses are awful. The upgrade from the X3 to the X4 is that they gave you lens guards. So a glass lens guard and a plastic lens guard. The issue with that is that it gives you some lens flares, and it really doesn't look great when you get those scenarios where you would need that. And I particularly don't like them. And plus, you can't use those going underwater too. So if you're swimming or diving or what have you, you can't use it because the lens will fill up with water because it's not sealed tight. The single lens I mentioned, the single lens is not great quality. It does not follow the same premise of the quality that the 360 mode has. I don't know why this is the case. So Insta360 can easily fix this and just use their 1/2-inch sensors to actually grab the proper footage from that. And just the footage that you see out of the single lens, whether you're looking at a low light scenario or what have you, it's just overall worse. And I just wish it wasn't like that. I wish the single lens gave you the quality of the 360 mode. Like, I just switched to 360 mode and suddenly the quality is better in low light and basically all scenarios. So I don't know why that is the case. So more cons. Bluetooth. The Bluetooth connection isn't great. If you connect these to the DJI mics, I've seen in people's reviews, the audio quality is not as good. If you're just plugging into this mic adapter and using your external mics that way. So that's something that's really annoying. And on the X3, I complained about just not being able to connect to really any devices. It says AirPods on there, but it wouldn't allow you to connect to AirPods, so that was weird. I think the battery life is actually pretty good if we're flipping back to the pros. Cons, 8K, ton of huge files, and some would say that the Insta360 app is like really fun, like really easy to work with, and it is in terms of 360 apps and options. So I don't want to crap on it in that sense, because it is definitely a good experience. It's just that having to do it sucks. Editing 360 video sucks. You basically have to do it within their app, export it into your application of choice, editing system, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere Pro, or Final Cut. There are extensions to edit the video within that, but you still have to export it. So that's annoying, but I also don't know how else you would do it. Like, I think there's really only one way to do that. So I'm not gonna fault them for that, but it is a con in the situation versus just like pointing your camera and shooting video. So that's something that I don't want to say can't stand, but it's super annoying. And I wish it was easier. I wish it was optimized for Apple Silicon, so exports would be faster. And I had an issue where I was using a solid state hard drive to export, and the hard drive overheated like 30 minutes into the export, and then it just gave me nothing. So yeah, I mean, there is also that worry and issue possibly. And yeah, obviously these cameras come out on a yearly basis, and you get probably like every other year a new Insta360 camera. And yeah, I think the camera in itself is a great value if you're thinking of it as two devices and replacing like a 2 GoPro or 2 DJI Osmo Action replacement, in which case it definitely works as a solid budget condition. So the new one that's come out is $550, and this one is I think $430 right now. So yeah, it's relatively budget friendly if you're looking for two devices versus one. And there are definitely limitations of this. I wish you can get HDR mode in 8K, which you can't, or 8K 60 frames per second. Can't get that. So super annoying. And when you're looking at upgrading, the Insta360 X5 does not give you that either. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at upgrading. If you're buying a new device wholeheartedly, I think it does make sense to just get the X5. Repairability ends up just being a little bit more easier for the X5, just because it's an actual device you can replace yourself. And I guess the other pro to this is that you can add your stats on here without having another device, as long as you're recording on and have a GPX recording. So you can use your phone, you can use a watch, you can use a bike computer, anything like that, and get the details and stats. I did see an issue with syncing it, so it doesn't seem to be always right on the money. I do seem to have to look at a start and end point of speed when I like pick up the speed, and see like when I stop to sync that up. So that is a big annoyance of mine, and I've gone anywhere from matching up to 9 seconds. So just keep continuously pushing the button until I get there. There are more cons. I think low light performance is crap. They've specified that low light is better with pure video on the X5, and they've increased the sensor, I don't know, 1.1 or like 115% or some crap like that. So it's really just 15%. Like that's just like a marketing term. It's not very much, like it's not that much bigger. It does perform better, but I think it's more software driven than anything else. There are nice things that you can do, like dynamic tracking, or deep track is what they call it. And you can track yourself on the video or subject on a video, and it does a decent job, but this also takes processing time and power. So I would say the major benefit of this product is that it makes it very, very easy to connect and export onto social media platforms on your phone. So if you're talking about YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, it does a really good, easy job of just allowing you to export in a 9:16 ratio, and you know, select what you want to do and export it onto your phone directly, and then upload. That's probably one of the main things that I noticed, is that it encourages me to post more content. So for somebody who does this part-time and reluctantly is sometimes lazy with uploading things like that, you know, it's good reminder, and it's also good motivator to actually upload. So I think that's my overall review of the Insta360 X4. It's a pretty good device, and Insta360 makes the best 360 cameras. I have to give them that. And should you upgrade, or which one should you buy? The X3, X5, X4, which one should you buy? In the grand scheme of things, if you're buying brand new, just buy the X5, just because the repairability on the lens is actually quite important. You're probably thinking to yourself, no it isn't, I'll pay less, but you might end up paying more. If you're paying $108 to replace it, you're already buying an X5. So keep that in mind as you go through this too. If I were just buying a product brand new, you get some of the benefits of the X5 and just the replacement. I mean, you can buy the, what's it called? The replacement or accidental thing for like 30 bucks. But then again, you're adding more money to that. So like, if you start adding things up, like just buy the X5. It does have better features, but if you're thinking like, oh, I need to upgrade from the X4 to the X5, absolutely not. You do not need to do that. And I would say, you know, you should definitely just keep your X4, or you know, if you're worried about the lens, upgrade. But I think the X3 is definitely, you definitely want that 8K footage or that 5.7K plus. I think that probably helps you out quite a bit in the area of just quality. I think 5.7K is just not enough. It's not sharp. The comparison between the two, I like the 8K so much better. So let me know in the comments what you think. I don't plan on getting, this is sketchy. I don't plan on getting an X5 unless they upgrade it to like a 1-inch sensor like the One RS that they had. I'm not planning on getting anything like that. I will use different cameras for low light scenarios. In this case, many people are saying, you know, why not have multiple cameras? And quite honestly, if you're looking for something that performs better in low light, you should really look at the Ace Pro 2 or the DJI Osmo Action 4 or 5, because those also perform quite well in low light, or at least better than the Insta360 X lineup. So X3 and X4 and X5. I think the X5 is decent in low light, but still sucks. I think you'd rather have your iPhone or using on your main lens, not on your wide angle lens, don't do that, or your DJI Osmo Action 4 or 5. I think those are, and then the Ace Pro 2 has good pure video low light performance. But again, with that said, let me know in the comments what you think. This is our review of the Insta360 X4. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.